Well, Azzam Tamimi is an author and a political activist, and he joins me now from London. Thank you so much for your time. Can you explain for our viewers the narrative of Jerusalem Day for the Israelis and why perhaps not everyone would agree with that narrative?
In developing over the years, and I think in more recent times, it has rapidly escalated into a religious narrative or a religious discourse that contradicts the founding fathers of Zionism's narrative. And I think that the Israeli establishment led by Netanyahu is pushing in that direction, feeling reassured by the situation in the neighboring countries, where most governments in the region at the moment, especially the Arab governments in the Gulf and in Egypt, seem to abandon the Palestinians, even incriminate the Palestinians if they struggle for their rights, even if they struggle peacefully. And I think this push toward a more religious narrative will inevitably lead to a reaction from the entire Muslim world, whereby this becomes a purely religious conflict rather than a merely political one.
What do you think drove, I mean, we're talking about the specific incidents that we've seen at Al-Aqsa. What do you think drove Israeli police to change their minds and let non-Muslims into Al-Aqsa on such a sensitive day? Do you think it was a political decision or more likely a spur of the moment? What's your take?
I don't believe this could have happened without a green light from Netanyahu himself. And now Netanyahu, who has disbanded the Knesset and is going to another round of elections, is probably appealing to the fundamentalist, extremist right-wing religious groups within Israeli society. And probably he meant for this to happen today.
There are always clashes around the old city and around these important sites. And as you know, I remember from when I was there last that sometimes they even feel planned after Friday prayers. What do you think Israeli authorities could do to dial down tensions while keeping both the Israelis and the Palestinians happy in terms of access to this site?
Well, I don't think they will do anything to calm the situation, because Netanyahu and his government are behind what's going on. And the reason for this, as I mentioned earlier, is the situation in the Arab world. We've seen in the recent Mecca summits that Israel was not even mentioned as the enemy of the Arabs or the Muslims. Wasn't mentioned as occupying one of the Islam's holiest sites. All the focus was on Iran and mobilizing against Iran, while Israel is becoming increasingly an ally of the Gulf countries and of Egypt. And I think Netanyahu is testing the waters. He's provoking the Palestinians in order to see what sort of response comes from the region, especially from the neighboring Arab countries.
Quite a fundamental shift that. Thank you for that. That's Azzam Tamimi, an author and political activist, live from London.